Hey everyone! Alright, this video is actually just going to be a review, and we are going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions. Your objective: I will be able to add and subtract positive fractions fluently. So let's review. Whenever we are adding or subtracting with fractions, we have to have a common denominator. For example, if I saw something like 1/5 plus 2/5, I could go ahead and operate with that. Now, if I saw something that looked like 1/4 plus 1/2, I cannot add those together because they do not have common denominators. So remember, common denominators are the big thing here. Whenever we do operate, we're only going to add or subtract the numerators. So in this example here, pretend like the denominator is like its label. So if you had one, let's say Kit Kat. If you had one Kit Kat plus 2 Kit Kats, you would have 3 Kit Kats. So if you had 1/5 plus 2/5, you would have 3/5. Alright, if you do not have a common denominator, then you have to find the least common multiple between them. So here, and I know these are written kind of sideways, but really this is like 1/2 plus 1/3. That's what that means. So we have a denominator of 2 and 3. So I want to think of the smallest multiple that they have in common. Now, if that's something that maybe you don't have memorized, you can always list the multiples for each number. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and as you can see, 6 is the smallest multiple they share. So you would want to just rewrite it with a denominator of 6. Now, the way we would change it, if we're changing a denominator of 2 to 6, we have to think of what we would multiply 2 by to get to 6. Well, we know that we could do 3 times 2 to get 6, so I want to do 3 times 1 in the numerator. Over here, from 3 to 6, we would multiply by 2. So that means in this numerator, we multiply by 2. So whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. Finally, if you have a mixed number, such as 1 and 1/2, you have to make it improper before you can operate with it or find a common denominator. And remember, you're just going to take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, and then you're going to add the numerator. So 2 times 1 would be 2, plus 1 would be 3. If you have a final answer that's improper, like let's say we get an answer like 8/5, you have to change it back into a mixed number. Now I say top dog in the house, and then you would just divide. Alright, so again, the first thing you want to do, change your mixed numbers to improper fractions, then find your common denominator, rewrite with the equivalent fractions, solve only the numerator, and then simplify the answer if need be. Alright, let's go ahead and do some examples together. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take 1/4 plus 1/4. Alright, we have common denominators, so we don't have to worry about changing anything. So I'm just going to perform the operation on the numerator. So again, think of the denominator like its label. If we have 1/4 plus another 4th, then we have 2/4. And we want to simplify, so I want to find the greatest number these can both be divided by, and they can both be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this would equal 1/2. Alright, let's try 8/9 minus 5/9. Again, these have common denominators, so I don't need to change anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and operate on the numerator. So 8 minus 5 is 3, and we leave the denominator the same. Now I'm going to see if I can reduce. 3 and 9 can both be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. Alright, example 3. Now what if I had something like 1/2 plus 1/5. Okay, these do not have common denominators, and they have to have a common denominator if we're going to operate with them. So I want to think of the smallest number that is a multiple of both 2 and 5. So I know that if I were to list out the multiples, 10 is a multiple of 2, and it's also a multiple of 5. So if you're having trouble listing out multiples, another thing you could do is multiply the denominators together, and you'll know for sure that's something that they have in common. So 2 and 5, their least common multiple is 10. Alright, now if I changed the 2 into a 10, that means that I would have had to have multiplied by 5. Whatever we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator. So 5 times 1 would be 5. Now over here, from 5 to 10, we would multiply by 2. So I have to do the same thing in the numerator, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now I can continue. So I have 5/10 plus 2/10. So I'm going to only operate on the numerator. 5 plus 2 is 7. And then I leave 10 the same because it's kind of like its label. Alright, let's say I have something like 8/9 minus 1/3. Again, I have uncommon denominators. So with 9 and 3, the smallest multiple that they would have in common is 9. Now this first number already has a denominator of 9, so I don't need to change that. I just rewrite it. So all I have to do is just rewrite it. Over here, to get from 3 to 9, we have to multiply by 3. So I'm going to do the same to the numerator, and 1 times 3 is 3. And now we can solve it. Alright, so 8/9 minus 3/9. We know that our denominator stays the same, and 8 minus 3 would be 5. Now both of these problems could not be reduced. Alright, let's do an example with mixed numbers. So we want to change those mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So here we have 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1 is 4. 4/3, and I'm going to carry down the addition sign. Here we have 2 times 9, which is 18, plus 1 is 19. And then keep in mind that whenever you change a mixed number to an improper fraction, the denominator is always going to stay the same. So now that we have this part here, we do not have common denominators. Now in the previous example, we had denominators of 9 and 3. So we know that the least common multiple is going to be 9. So I want to change this so that they have common denominators. As you can see, this fraction already has a denominator of 9. So I don't have to change it. I can just leave it as is. Now over here on this side, I'm going from a denominator of 3 to a denominator of 9. So I want to multiply 3 times 3 to get to 9, which means I'm going to multiply 4 times 3 in the numerator and make it 12. And now we can finish. Now remember, denominator stays the same, and now I have 12 plus 19, and that is going to be 31. Alright, normally whenever we operate with mixed numbers, you're normally going to see your answer look like this, like an improper fraction. So we're going to have to take that and we're going to have to change it back into a mixed number. So like I say, top dog goes in the house, so that means it would be like 31 divided by 9. 9 would go into 31 3 times, which is 27, and we would have 4 left over. Now, we have been working with decimals, but now that we're working with fractions, what we're going to do is the remainder is going to become the numerator, and then the denominator is going to stay the same. So this 3 becomes like the whole number. The remainder is your numerator, denominator stays the same. So our answer would be 3 4/9. Alright, now it's time for you to try. Take 2 1/5 plus 3 2/3. I want you to pause and write this problem down in your spiral, because on Play Pause It, it may come up looking like this. So pause and make sure you write it down so that it looks like this. Alright, so make sure you get that answered in your spiral and on PlayPosit, and we will see you next class day.